Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Polygon Matic. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right hand side of the video. And if you want to support the Ukrainian refugees, feel free to go over to the links down below in the description. Those will take you to official websites where you can donate. The funds do not go through me in any sort of way. Thank you all for supporting, and let's get on with the TA. So, if you watched the last update that was uploaded on July 29th, you had a couple of targets that were actually met. Now, to start off with this chart here, as you can see, we have a swing high here and a swing low over here. We set up the Fibonacci retracement, and we have our extension levels to the downside here. As you can see, the 1.618, the 1.414, and the 1.272. And we went all the way down with this capitulation to the 1.414, and then we had a nice V-shaped recovery, a back test of support, and we got overextended, getting all the way above the 786 over here, and almost getting to the 0.618, which is the golden ratio. And you can consider this a dead cat bounce, I would imagine, because as you can see, you did drop from this low over here, you started retracing, you almost ran into the golden ratio, but we can count this as the golden ratio technically, right? Well, not technically, but you could say that we ran into the golden ratio and now we're going to see another pullback. Now, whether this pullback is going to take us deeper than this low or not is to be seen. But the fact is that if we go lower than this low here, that will be a very, very bearish statement. And I do not want to see that happen. I do not want to see us lose 30 cents here on Polygon Matic. Hopefully, if we're going to continue on with this pullback and we're going to go deeper, we do have a couple of support levels here. As you can see, you have 76.5 cents. You're holding that right now. You've been doing that for the past 10 days or so. You also have a support down below at 62.5 cents, which is a very good support level for us to land at, because this is where we got rejected multiple times since June of this year. And below, you also have a couple of support levels that you can take a look with this smaller fib retracement. As you can see, the smaller fib has this as the swing high and this as the swing low. And our 1.618 target was at 96.5 cents. We got to that perfectly 3 times in a row. And I do think we even started creating a bearish divergence here, which means that the lows that we were creating were getting lower on the RSI. However, on the price action, they were getting higher. That is just a bearish divergence, and that was an indicator that the trend was losing its power. And at some point, you're going to see a pullback, because if you zoom in over here, you can see that the gap in between the EMAs was getting pretty large. If you take a look at the yellow 20 EMA and the red 55 EMA, once you have that large of a gap, that is usually an indicator of an upcoming pullback. Also, the fact that the price action was so far away from the yellow 20 EMA, that is also something that is not very positive to see. Obviously, the price growth is good. You can take some profits here, but just expect a pullback relatively soon after. And right now, we're hitting our head on the 55 EMA, on the 20 EMA. They're about to create a bearish cross, which is the exact opposite of what they did over here. So here we got a bullish cross when the 20 EMA crosses above the 55, and here the 20 is going to cross below the 55. So that will be our kind of confirmation of the downtrend. And I would look to buy back into Polygon Matic at these prices here, 62 cents, 63 cents. These are good prices. If it goes lower, I'm obviously going to put in even more money at lower prices. But it is also possible that we retrace all the way down here to 32, 33 cents, all the way where we came from, because that is usually what happens with these pullbacks. So you create this low with the capitulation, you start retracing, and then you come back down for a double bottom pattern, or at least you create a higher low here, which would also be a very good indicator in my opinion, but losing this over here, that would be very negative. I don't want to see that really, because that would just create more targets to the downside. And if we were to lose this low here, you can always throw another Fib retracement with the targets to the downside here, and you can see the 1.618 here is sitting at almost 15 cents. Now, no one knows how long this bear market will continue, but I know for a fact that the longer it goes on, the more opportunity you and I have for buying into our favorite projects at lower prices. So I did give you this 67.7 resistance here, and we ran into it perfectly here in August. As you can see, we ran into this resistance. Look at this. Perfection. So if you had these resistance levels up on your charts, you would have been able to swing trade this pretty easily, in my opinion, because Matic was getting very overextended, and it was easy to see that at some point you're going to see a strong pullback. So if you can see that you have a touch of this resistance level over here, another touch over here, another touch over here, another touch over here, and you have some touches over there. But as you can see, this 67.6 level has a lot of touches. You do go above it, obviously you do go above it, but a lot of the times you don't, and this was just your time to take that chance and take some profits and wait for a pullback. Now, of course, we did lose this support trend line here, this ascending support trend line that we had. We did lose it for quite some time over here. Then we got back above it. We back tested it as support over here, and right now you're closing the candle, or closing the RSI below here. You're not really closing, but you're just hitting your head on it as resistance right now, and you're coming back down. So I wouldn't be surprised if we went back down into the oversold zone here. That would be something that I would expect as well. Also, you can take a look at this ascending pattern here, this support trend line, which is a bit of a smaller level, but we've been bouncing from it in May. We've been bouncing from it in June, and we could potentially see another bounce here in September. We're almost done with August as well. So the large 1.618 target here from the large fib that I showed you in the beginning is 24.5 cents. So I don't know if we're going to get down there. It is obviously possible if Bitcoin starts dropping below $17,000. We could absolutely capitulate and nosedive into this price for a couple of hours, and then we could start recovering real quick, as it usually happens. But if you are expecting that, then feel free to set up some buy limit orders in advance, because only that way can you be sure that you're going to get these cheap prices. Now let's switch over to the Binance website. So switching over to the weekly chart on Binance, as you can see, we ran into the 55 EMA and the 20 EMA here on the weekly chart, and now you're starting to pull back a little. And you do have this buy zone anywhere from 39 cents all the way to 26 cents. This would be your immediate buy zone, because you do have a trading range that you created here in spring of last year. So we just back tested this as support in June, and we had a move to the upside. I don't know if we're going to come back to this one. That's up to Bitcoin to decide, or up for Bitcoin to decide. However, if we go to the weekly RSI, I did show you this specific trend line here in the last update, and I told you that there's a good chance that we're going to run into this level here, and there was a chance that we could break through, right? But we didn't. And if you saw this and you saw that you were running into this level as resistance, you could have taken some profits, and now you're pulling back down, and you can buy back in, essentially, buying back more coins into your portfolio. So you had one touch over here, you had a second touch over here, and now you have a third touch. So the first touch was in May of last year, then December of last year, and right now we have in August of 2022. So guys, this is an important level. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but as you can see, this does actually work, right? You can see that this resistance level was retested perfectly. And if I bring back, or should I say bring out another trend line here, you can see how you're creating some sort of a falling wedge, right? You can see how you're getting tighter and tighter with every single touch. And should I get this even thicker? Okay, as you can see, you're getting thicker. Oh, you're not getting thicker. You're getting tighter and tighter here. in between this support and resistance, and by all means you could dump down all the way down to this support. This would be an amazing buying opportunity, and from there, if we end up breaking out of this falling wedge, this would be a perfect bull market scenario in my opinion. Hopefully we do not lose this support, because we've bounced off of this support in July of last year, in June of this year, and right now basically you can see that you're in this channel down pattern. This is just a move to the downside, and eventually you're going to start breaking to the upside. So we're just going to be waiting for that with my community. I'm going to be giving you my trade alerts on Patreon, as well as my low cap gem calls. So feel free to check that out. And basically, this is pretty much it. If I jump into the monthly chart over here, you can see that we ran into the monthly 20 EMA on Polygon Matic. So we lost it as support here in April. We dumped down into June, and then we started a little recovery move to the upside. We got rejected from the 20 EMA on the monthly chart, and now we're pulling back down. So we haven't closed the candle above the 20, so we're not officially bullish yet. So we could obviously see another move to the downside. As you can see, we had this huge move from January of 2021 into May, and then you were kind of consolidating, and then you had another move to the upside. So right now you don't have a lot of trading range over here based on the monthly chart, so we would be looking at something like 3 to 4 cents if we were to drop through these levels pretty quickly, but I don't think logically that is possible. Obviously, if Bitcoin drops to 15K, anything is possible, but you just have to apply logic to your charts. So that is pretty much it. You do have some support levels, you do have some resistance levels. Now let's say this was our swing low in June, and wow, that wasn't supposed to happen, and this was our swing high in December. So you get your 1.618 target here at $11.50 per token, which is not a bad trade in my opinion. That's pretty good. So from where we are right now, that is a 1,442% trade. Pretty good in my opinion based on the project. It looks very good, very bullish on Matic. Thank you all for watching. If I missed anything out on the charts, let me know down below in the comment section. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to join me on Patreon. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.